You've found yourself at the junction where worlds meet. Politics.
Civility? How about honesty in this country, folks?
Entertainment.
I don't like entertainment.
And a whole bunch of other stuff.
It's about having a healthy body image. You have a very unhealthy body. You should have a horrible body image.
Not a big home improvement market in Detroit.
We are definitely going to get letters.
You're listening to Talk Radio's Strangest Animal.
You're a strange animal, that's what I know.
You're getting louder with Crowder.
But you're a strange animal, I got to follow. Oh, I'm in the spiritus.
All right, you know that sound. That is the sound of the weekend. That's a bad start. Did you accidentally include a cultural appropriation month?
It was, but I kind of like it. I kind of because it psyched them out, but it also psyched me out, so I get to be in on the joke. I don't usually get to be in. Like, I'm usually in on it.
You don't even know what your job entails.
I don't even know.
You don't even know how to do it professionally.
I psych myself out, though. That's pretty cool.
All right, don't talk until I introduce you. I am your host, Steven Crowder, louderwithcrowder.com. Producing with me in video studio, as always, is Not Gay Jared. You can follow him on Twitter at Not Gay Jared. He's not gay. I fulfill my legal obligations. Draw your own conclusions. I don't even need your response today. Last week, so right off the bat, first, we have great guests today. We have Nick DiPaolo. We're going to have Courtney Kirchhoff, who all of you love, and she's just darling. Actually, an exclusive scoop on the Gretchen Carlson sexual harassment situation going on. Alfonzo, Rachel to talk about Black Lives Matter. Right off the bat, we didn't. This was the first time last week we didn't do a show that was certainly since syndication, that was a non-Christmas show. We always missed the week of Christmas between Christmas and New Year's. I know we once did a shorter July 4th show, and the one time I had knee surgery, we did a send-off of Not Gay Jared when he was fired, but that took more work than the show. So this was the first time. People asking me where I was. A couple of things. We had a family emergency. My sister-in-law, her father had a stroke, and I love my sister-in-law, so I don't want to get into too many personal details. But it was pretty tough. There was also a pre-scheduled wedding, and because of the family tragedy, and he, not an older guy too, it just made it impossible. Just made it impossible with traveling and scrambling. So it's a very, very rare occurrence, but that's what happened. It was a pretty rough week, and of course, not made any easier here tonight. We have to come in and entertain you and try and be as funny as possible when this is what's going on in France. At the moment of this recording, for people listening terrestrially, some places run us on a delay. We don't know exactly what's happened there yet. And in the week that we missed, I planned on coming on here and talking about Black Lives Matter because I had so many thoughts. The Dallas PD shooting had occurred all since we've last spoken, and then right now this is France. So we are going to talk about Black Lives Matter. We are going to talk about the Dallas PD shooting, and we do have a big announcement, actually. Stop asking, but Louder with Crowder is never, ever, ever going daily. We know this.
It's just
no
rude.
exploratory committee, even exploring the idea. And if we are hiring people, it is not because we are going daily. However, we are hiring at Louder with Crowder. We need more staff. We are growing at a very quick pace, and we are going to launch the Louder with Crowder Golden Ticket Sweepstakes for those who want to work. We get submissions all the time, thousands of submissions. The problem is most of them suck. So we are going to be very, very specific in the third hour of this program. If you want to come work for Louder with Crowder, exactly what it takes, how to contact me or the team, and what the submission process is like. Yes, full-time positions, full pay, good pay, but you've got to be good and you've got to want it. So that's a big one. You know about this.
I do.
You know about this, but not because of anything daily, just because we need more people.
Oh, exactly.
Because
losers need not apply.
Losers
I'm
need
not
not
sure
apply.
how I slipped through.
Well, it was out of necessity. I was desperate, and then
The grieving process was
now
was,
people
was
know
weaker
legally.
back then.
You've got me in a vice. So France has happened. Listen, I talked about this with the shootings, Black Lives Matter. Every single time a black person gets shot, it's, it's because he's black, Black Lives Matter. And then guess what? They find out, no, it's because the guy assaulted a cop. Or no, it's because he was carrying drugs. Or no, it's because he resisted arrest. And so I've said we have to wait for information. We have to wait for the facts. So I had to be intellectually consistent when this happened. Now, when there is a terrorist attack, a mass terrorist attack, if you have to bet your life, virtually always in the name of Islam today. Globally, certainly in Europe especially. And I still waited a couple of hours. Well, ISIS has claimed responsibility, but they claim responsibility for anything. They're just like the Westboro Baptist Church.
Yeah.
And it's been confirmed by some news feeds. I'm looking at the Israel news feed, which tends to be pretty accurate with terrorism. Some news feeds from France and Britain. So that seems to be the case. Over 70 are dead. We have enough information now that's a reasonable conclusion to draw. It's time to draw Muhammad. It is time for people. People think I'm being unreasonable here or that I made it up. We talked about this a long time ago. I've drawn Muhammad. It's so funny. Now you have these new conservatives who want to accuse anyone who doesn't step in line with them of being afraid. We've been doing Islamic stuff for years. For years. Years and years and years. Drawing Muhammad, videos in the Quran Challenge. Here's the deal. This is why the Brexit happened. France. This is why the Brexit happened. Now, am I saying that they would have stopped this? No. EU, far leftist policies, completely open borders, open arms to refugees who are refusing to assimilate, who've already had a bad track record in the UK, whether it's setting up Islamic communities where women get beaten and they obey Sharia law, setting up over 85 Sharia courts in the UK, or just record rape, as we see in Sweden, a skyrocketing record rape rate. But let's bring in more of these refugees. Okay, it is... What were there, 70-something votes, economic measures, political measures, immigration measures that Britain wanted to bring forward and were all shot down by the EU? Can they stop this, Britain? No. But every single nation should have a fighting shot. You know what? Britain and France should have the right to say, that's it. No more borders. Close borders. That's racist. Fine. Close borders. That's it. We're not letting you in. We're not letting you in. And here's my thing. It's not a religious litmus test, because you can ask Christians to draw Jesus. You can ask Jews to draw Moses, menorahs. If you want to be a part of Western civilization, renounce Sharia law and draw Muhammad.
It's certainly not religious, because you'd probably weed out both radical Muslims and liberals.
Yes, that's exactly the point. The only people who are not willing to draw Muhammad are people who, listen, you want to say moderate Muslims, right? Well, the Quran doesn't. So if you're misinterpreting the killing all infidels and apostates, okay. Well, you can deduce this. If they're going to take it literally enough to not draw Muhammad because they believe that that's almost an unforgivable sin, they're very likely to take it literally enough to believe in death for apostasy or supporting Sharia law and beating women. I think that's fine. I think we're not saying draw a piss Muhammad. We're not saying like a piss Christ. We're not saying defile Muhammad with anything offensive. But, okay, you want to be a part of Western civilization, draw Muhammad. It can be a flattering picture. Draw him, anoint his head with oils, and draw someone washing his feet. Draw his little pedophile sex servants that Muhammad loved so much. But I don't care what you do. It can be as flattering of a portrait as you want. You want to stay here in Western civilization, draw Muhammad. Or go. You can't come in unless you do this. That's it. It's that simple. Listen, you need to have, we had my mom on here talking about, this is why it all ties into immigration, some form of a national identity, not a racial identity, but an identity of ideas, of certainly of values that we have here in the United States. Thank God we have the Constitution. Thank God we're not multiculturalists. It's a melting pot. You become American first. So whatever term you want to use now, it's popular to say globalism, being raised internationally. Of course, the term we use was multiculturalism. That's the term they use. That's the appropriate term to use. Whatever term you want, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's failed. There's nothing wrong with nations wanting to be a nation, wanting to protect their borders, wanting to protect their citizens. And if France wants to get serious about this, France needs to stop being politically correct. They need to weed out radical Islamists, and basically anyone who takes any kind of a literal interpretation of the Quran. So, draw Muhammad is the fastest way you can weed it out. Tweet me at S. Crowder if you think there's something more effective. I believe that that's remarkably effective and remarkably reasonable. You don't have to do anything incendiary, just draw Muhammad. And let their citizens be armed. Now, I know this wasn't just a gun. I think they drove a truck, killed over 70 people at the time of this recording. The death toll will likely rise. So we can talk about truck control. But did get out of the truck and shoot. And that is typically an Islamic terrorism pattern. That's a boom, kill as many people as you can with a giant vehicle, because you can, of course, kill, generally speaking, more people with a truck or with a bus than you can with a gun. They're more dangerous. We've talked about this on the show before. This proves it. You can be passive with a gun. You can own a gun. That's a passive tool. It doesn't have to be used anytime you are transporting yourself or people in a truck. You are putting others on the road at risk. No one is at risk for my gun here on my hip or in my office. No one's at risk. Someone is always at risk when you drive from point A to point B. Terrorists inherently know that, and so they decide, well, I'm not just driving from point A to point B, putting people at risk incidentally. I'm going to kill them from point A to point B. Then I'm going to get out of point B and shoot them. These nations need to stop being politically correct, France, and let their citizens be armed. It is just an absolute travesty of human justice. Yeah, hands up, don't shoot. First off, there were no hands up. Sometimes you shoot. You want to talk injustice? People who are absolutely helpless because of their politically correct neighbors who voted to make them defenseless. Here's the thing you can talk about. Mass shootings in the United States, we've debunked all of those statistics, right? So now we're off of the gun control issue because you see what happens. And in Paris, we had the attacks. Now we have this in nice France. This has happened many times, so it shows you that gun control doesn't exactly work. But here's the thing. With the United States, you can talk about mass shootings. Americans are not afraid to go to the movie theater. Americans are not afraid to go to school. Americans are not afraid to go to church. They don't live in fear of mass terror, of mass shootings every day, of evil white terrorists. Guess what? In Europe, they do fear on their day-to-day basis Islamic terrorism or Islamic culture. If you're in England, you don't have this in the United States. You don't go into areas where they are Muslim because you disappear. We saw that with Lawrence Southern. There are areas where I cannot travel in Europe because of what I have done with Islam. In Europe, you don't say the things we're saying here, not because they're politically incorrect, but because you can be jailed. They live in fear, day to day, of terrorists, of people raping and killing and not assimilating, people who come from third world, failed, horrible, crap-hole nations. Yes, all Islamic nations, every single one is a crap-hole where I wouldn't send my worst enemy. They bring it to Europe, and guess what? Unlike the United States, they live in day-to-day fear of this. And it's because there's nothing they can do about it. They don't have the right to express themselves freely for fear of being reprimanded, and they don't have the right to defend themselves freely. We don't live in fear. Let's get real about this here. Let's try and, I don't know, we'll talk about something funny. There'll be, I don't know, wiener jokes? I don't know. We'll draw Muhammad live on air. We'll see.
In fact, it was a little bit frightening, but they fought with expert timing.
Welcome back to this very special celebrity edition of American Ninja Warrior. Welcome back. Our next contestant, Bob, is Lena Dunham, of course, creator and star of the show Girls, and a noted rape survivor, Bob.
That's an impressive resume, Jim.
Add to that she's a child molester, and she has experienced it all. But can she conquer the Ninja Warrior course?
Well, it's a little harder than molesting your little sister, Jim.
That's right, Bob, of course, waving to the audience and raising awareness for rape culture.
Hey, everyone! Nobody try and rape me! It happens so much. Seriously, I get raped all the time with no proof.
No one wants to rape you!
I think maybe some of you do.
No, we all agree. We talked about it beforehand.
That's sexist!
Of course, Lena never missing an opportunity to let her political agenda be known. But what kind of agenda does the Ninja Warrior course have in store for her today? She begins now with the hops. Oh.
This is a bizarre approach, Jim.
That's true, Bob. I've never seen anything like it. Perhaps she's unorthodox, but no, in fact, she's not. She is just eating the course.
That's right, Jim. She's chewing on the foam padding.
A fact made more disturbing that she's spontaneously decided to disrobe Bob.
She is naked, chomping on the course, Jim.
Oh, and she did somehow manage to carry a tub of ranch dressing that she's now putting on the course.
I believe that's Hidden Valley, Jim.
Yes, Hidden Valley, hidden in her valley, Bob. Unfortunately, it is, of course, wildly inappropriate for the task at hand, and she will be immediately disqualified.
That's right, Jim. Though I am getting notice that she has, in fact, sued NBC.
Oh, why is that, Bob?
Rape, Jim.
Of course. We'll return you to more American Ninja Warrior. Stay tuned for more Celebrity Edition American Ninja Warrior.
Whoa, Jared, what are you doing?
Shoot bad guys.
With what?
My AR-15.
Where'd you get it?
AR-15.com.
Oh, there's another one. You got him.
Yeah.
Thank God for AR-15.com. They have AR-15 and accessories for sale and the best advice there is on the web. Oh, no, there's another one. You got him.
Yeah.
With your what?
AR-15.
From where?
AR-15.com.
That's the best place to go, and that's the takeaway because this commercial's about to stop.
Glad to be back. Who invented this Irish fighting stance, by the way?
I don't know. It's kind of
Fighting
stupid.
Irish? It's really stupid. It's like, oh, yes, let me guarantee that I can gain no leverage in my punches, nor sit in them with bodily power. And if your punch comes straight through, I'll break my wrist. That's an effective fight. We're the Fighting Irish. Call us the Fighting Retards.
That's a gift.
How stupid is this? You couldn't put yourself in a worse position to fight. Huh. I don't know.
Do you see this fly going around here?
There's a fly in the studio.
We didn't tell them. We're actually broadcasting from Zimbabwe today.
Yes. Good Lord. We're going to get letters. For only a cup of coffee a day, you can feed not gay Jared. We have Nick DiPaolo coming up after the break. We're not going to be talking about France with him. We're going to get light and funny. And we'll come back. We'll talk more about it. Hopefully we'll be able to update you, but I don't want to burden our guests. Okay, so let's talk about Black Lives Matter, Dallas PD. I released a couple of videos, louderwithcrowder.com. Gosh, I'm out of breath.
It's that fighting stance that took it out of you, I think.
I don't know.
That's
I
really the
gotta
trick.
start taking it a little easier. Remember yet?
Or those B-dubs.
I did have Buffalo Wild Wings, and I had Blazin'. And
Poor
that's
choice.
A problem. Poor choice
Poor
before a
choice.
program. But I don't know. Is that? I mean, I always thought I separated something, but it tends to happen when I get stressed. I get these pains in my chest. You can tweet me at SCrowd if that's an actual thing, like right there. I'm pointing right there, that kind of center area of the chest. Sometimes it happened last night, worse than usual. So the Black Lives Matter situation, the Dallas PD. Again, this has happened. We didn't have a show last week, so we have to get into this. We've released videos more in depth on it. Right before the Dallas shooting, I said, listen, this is after Sterling and Castile. Castillo? Castile?
Castile, I think.
Castile. I said, but if it is more controversial to say wait for the facts on these situations than it is to say let's lynch cops, and people were actually tweeting that. We had those screenshots in the video. I said we had a problem. We have a very serious problem. And then the Dallas shooting happened. And then immediately before the bodies were cold, we are right back to Black Lives Matter, hands up, don't shoot. Here's why it's so important. Let me tell you this. If I believed for a second that officers out there were simply shooting, I don't know.
Not gay Jared.
Let's say Christian white males, okay? If I believe that there was actual data, I believe they were just shooting Christian white males. They ran up your search, oh, Christian white male, boom, shoot them. As MTV or as Mike, this YouTube channel where they have Beyonce and all these celebrities talking about it, they say Sterling was killed for selling CDs. Mike Brown was killed for stealing cigarillos. Freddie Gray was killed for having a knife. If you actually believe that these officers are simply going out and just killing innocent people because, well, of course it's justifiable to kill cops. People are going to take that and say justify. No, I'm saying if you believe that cops are simply committing homicide, well, of course it's justifiable for some sort of a civil war to take it to them. If I saw a cop run right up and shoot someone in the head with no reason, just boom, that happened as they're painting this, yeah, I'd probably try and do something. I'd get my video camera on and probably be in trouble because it's a police officer. But you can bet I think most people would. That's not what's happening. But when you present that as the media is for so long, guess what? You make it acceptable for the Dallas shooting. Their justification is the exact same rhetoric as mainstream Black Lives Matter. Not fringe. What they teach is that all cops are racist. It's systemic injustice and racism. By the way, they're the only ones who should have guns, not gay Jared.
Oh, that's right. Because that makes a lot of sense.
You haven't brought yourself on camera at all. You're just looking at yourself in the monitor. Does your camera not work?
No, it works. I'm gorgeous. Look at that.
Good Lord. Actually, Hillary said that, my wife has said that you look healthier.
Healthier?
You look a little healthier. You don't look as pale. Have you checked your hemoglobin lately?
I haven't, but tweet me if you think I look like a healthier hemoglobin boy should look. Take a stab at my my number.
One of
there.
our listeners is bound, or watchers is bound to be a doctor. But here's something I want to talk about. So that happened. So we've talked about that at Louder with Crowder. I was at Buffalo Wild Wings watching the fights last week, and Brock Lesnar fought. And so I was sitting next to a black guy, actually. My dad bought him a beer because he moved over. We were in Milwaukee. The bar was entirely black. And he moved over, gave us a seat. And I said, hey, do you mind if you move over? There can be 2 seats. We sat at the stool. We bought him a Newcastle. That's what he was drinking. He was a very nice guy. And Brock Lesnar was fighting. And at the end of his fight, he said, hey, when he won. He said, we need to all join together and support our men in uniform. This is one white boy to everyone else, but we need to stand in this together. Something along those lines. My dad and I clapped. Not a single person in that bar clapped. It was entirely black. Now, I know that this is different because when I've been at Buffalo Wild Wings after terrorist attacks or when people like Brian Stan who would stand up and say, hey, let's support our men in uniform, there was always some sort of a positive response. Not a single person did. And I began a conversation, and this is why it's so important, with the guy next to me, a black guy, and someone who I didn't even know, and asked him what he thought about that, and he hadn't really thought about it. Like, yeah, you know, man, yeah, I think that's good. I think, like there's a cop. I said, what do you think about that cop in here who's doing security? Yeah, man, he seems like a good, there's some good cops. I said, okay, so do you think maybe it's a little unfair the way, man, it's the, and he didn't really, he was being kind of general, speaking in platitudes. I said, okay, I talked about Justin Timberlake with him. The situation where Justin Timberlake said, we are all one. He supported the BET Awards, and they jumped on him.
Yeah, it went nuts.
He said, what was it? Yeah, I know a lot of my friends were mad at Justin Timberlake. I said, yeah. He said, hey, this is inspiring the BET Black Lives Matter speech, which I disagree with, from Jesse Williams. And people got on him for appropriating culture for R&B. He said, man, people are gonna give him crap for doing R&B, like his music, because it's R&B. I said, what do you think about that? He said, we are all one, and people said that was racist. He hadn't thought about these issues. He said, you're always going to get white people who hate black people. Racism is always a thing, but not most people. And you're always going to get black people who hate white people. Black people can be the most racist, and he started going in on that. And then we were talking about Brock Lesnar, and we both agreed that he looked like Donkey Kong in the way that he fought. Now, of course, if he were a black fighter, there's no way you could do that. So I kind of pointed that out to him. I said, yeah, Gorilla, he looks like Donkey Kong. He said, yeah, I know, man. He's just smashing him like Donkey Kong, like in Donkey Kong Country. And we laughed, and we connected. Here's the thing. He left that conversation thinking about these things for the first time. It was a human interaction. So I know a lot of you don't have a show. I know a lot of you can't do this, but all of you, what I want to see is the the millions of people who read, the many, many millions of people who read, watch, or listen to this show or some sort of Louder with Crowder content every week. I want you to make it a point to just have these interactions, because you'll be amazed how people don't think about this. I don't need all of you to have a show. But I want to see millions, thousands of people on a day-to-day basis having interactions. And all of you can change a few minds. Get them thinking critically. That's how change happens. So there's a silver lining. Nick DiPaolo, after this, warned, probably not PG-13. NC-7.
Billie Jean is not my love. 'Cause she's a girl, and she's older than 6. She's older than 6. But you're not a boy.
No, take the camera off of our guest. He's too white. It's too. But we have to bring him up next. I call him. We've had him on the show. People love him, except last time he was on a landline because he's functionally retarded when it comes to Skype. His podcast, the Nick DiPaolo podcast at ConnectPal / well, he'll give me the direct plug. It's on iTunes. That's where I listen. I think, for my money, right now, funniest man alive. Nick DiPaolo, thank you for being here, sir, and sorry that you were giving us gold off air while we were adjusting audio levels, and we screwed you.
And it's good that you got that web address right out there beautifully. Jesus Christ, is this off the rip form stuff? The podcast is on iTunes on Monday for free, and if you like it, you go to connectpal.com/Nick.
There you go.
It's kind of scary. Now I'm the one that actually doing the technical shit here.
Yeah, that's right. Whereas last time you called it on a rotary.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. It's syndicated. I can't curse. This is great. You got me boxed into a corner here. Now I know why I don't Skype. That's what I need, another camera angle with my forehead. It's 11 by 17.
Actually, you're looking pretty. I thought you were going to look older on Skype. It's usually not very flattering.
Well, I have my hair colored and I trim my pubes for this interview. It's an important gig for me.
Well, yeah, that's the that doesn't matter with the FCC as long as it's not scatological. I think you can say pubes. You can't talk about what's underneath the pubes. It's really silly.
What the hell's under your pubes?
Well, that remains to be seen. We're gonna
A prostitute's tongue. Good evening, everybody.
All right. Come on now, sir. Sir, you are a gentleman and a scholar, and this is beneath you. I don't know. I don't.
Oh, right. It was right in my wheelhouse. What's the point of being on the internet if you're on the radio too?
Well, it is kind of as a weird bag. It started on radio, and then it got popular on the internet, and we owned the rights to it, and we get complaints from radio all the time. So I don't know how much longer it'll last after this interview, but
Well, I won't say anything now.
well, no, you can say whatever you want because you already did. What's going to get worse than the prostitute gag? I don't. Well, we can make the cancer
If they
joke.
have a problem with that, that's why radio's dying a slow death. Okay.
It's true.
Get over yourselves. People are broadcasting themselves being shot in cars, but I can't say pubes. Come on, WACB, Dubuque.
Morning time with Stephen and DiPaolo.
So, me and Steven were just chatting. I thought we were on with this Skype thing. I thought we were live the minute this thing kicked in. And I give him like 8 minutes of gold, and he goes, okay, we're going to start the show now.
Right, yeah, exactly. Well, you were doing the cancer. I was doing the cancer jokes. You made the rape jokes.
Yeah,
and we both talked about what a pansy Titus was for not showing up.
I didn't say that.
No,
You
I
said
did. I did. And
I don't have a problem. Titus probably doesn't like me because we know these lefties that close mind, but I never had a problem with Titus.
Well, I asked because
I didn't even know he was a lefty really until you mentioned it.
yeah, no, I know. To be fair, Nick, not trying to throw Nick, but he just didn't show. So we don't know. Maybe we can rebook him another time. But this is constant with us. And we had it with D.L. Hughley, now Titus, Michael Woods Jr., the Bernie representative. I mean, how many people have we had, Jared? We just can't get them on.
Gosh, there's been at least, I don't know, half dozen recent times.
I don't know.
No.
Well,
Well, you should try to get Loretta Wheezy Lynch.
yeah,
On the,
yeah, I know.
this is Jefferson, I call her.
Well,
I'm moving on up.
yeah, I know. I get it. I remember I told you about that bit at the Comedy Cellar where a bunch of black people got offended because I said Michelle Obama looked like Sigourney Weaver fell asleep on a sundial. And everyone was like, what was that?
You're syndicated. Can you make a racial bracket?
Yeah, I think we can, as long as
You
it's.
guys are all over the map with your rules. But okay.
Well, they're hard to follow. That's by design because it keeps me in
true.
control and it keeps you out of control. But you're a Republican. You're not really necessarily conservative. We were talking last time, and we actually got emails about this where you said we were talking about Patrice O'Neill. Of course, no one ever wants to speak for someone else, but I remember him on Red Eye. I remember him on Fox, and he just hated when people would get offended with jokes. And I asked you about the Black Lives Matter sort of professional victimhood, and you said, I think you would have hated it. And people were like, the liberals got mad at that. Where do you think people like him, who really were consistent, even though they might have been more left, would be today with this chaos going on?
Oh boy.
All right, go back to the rape jokes.
Yeah, boy. Let me mine this. Let me mine this field of humor.
Well, come on, you talk about a woman getting raped in Central Park and that's hilarious. That's pretty
was off
dark.
There. Let me repeat that, Joe. I wasn't making fun of rape. I said I saw a 400-pound woman with a rape whistle in Central Park, and I said come on, that's like putting the club on the steering wheel of a Hyundai.
Nobody laugh.
Only nuts she's going to see her, in that whistle. Listen,
we don't support rape here on this program.
Patrice, nobody supports rape.
Except for you. Aim your email at Nick DiPaolo, the rape apologist.
Wait, I didn't support rape.
You just openly supported rape. That's what I heard, Jared.
My joke had a rape whistle in it. Yours didn't.
Jared?
I heard it. Call Nick. His number is 1-800-4-RAPE.
Yes.
What is this? You have people on the show and then you turn it, rat me out?
Well, I didn't. I just heard that. That's exactly what.
Let me do an impression of my agent. I got you yuck yucks in Grand Forks, North Dakota in February. How's that sound?
Oh wait, they just canceled. You made a rape joke.
The Black Lives Matter thing. Who cares what Patrice would have thought? He hated white people just like most black people do.
Right. No, and going back to the rape joke, obviously, that's what happened with me. People say, well, if you make a joke about something, you're supporting it. You have comedians out there now.
Who says that?
Oh, that's all over the place. All over the place.
Right?
No, well, it's not right, but that's the leftist tactic, right? That's the Titus with the gun thing.
Is that right? I'm asking you. People actually on the left say that? That's a new one to me.
Yeah, no, it's very common, and that's the situation we have. With someone like again, no beef from Nick with this guy, but like Christopher Titus said he was going to make me cry, and I was like, okay, so let's talk about this. And his whole argument is always, well, you don't care about dead people in Orlando, you don't care about dead kids. If you support the Second Amendment, you support murder. And it's the same thing. If you make a joke about rape, you support rape with a hypothetical situation. That's what's happening now. I mean, you're seeing with these comedians. black comedians who get offended if you make jokes about the Black Lives Matter situation or the professional victimhood, and they turn around and they want political correct leeway for them.
See, that's your generation of black comedian, not mine. Patrice wouldn't. Patrice would not have had a problem with any of those jokes.
No, I guarantee.
Let me tell you, if you're a real comic, okay, there is no line, okay? I've gone through this 100 times. People go, "Where's the line?" There is no line.
Right.
What if my line of being offended is a mile away and yours is a foot away? Who decides where that line is? That's why there is no line. And that's typical leftist think going. If you joke about something, you're supporting it. Who the hell came up with that rule?
I appreciate it, Nick, for you giving me
It's gonna be a little.
Dude, I'm sorry. I'm talking on my.
Well, he's done radio. He knows how it works.
The screen.
The what?
I said I'm usually looking at porn on this screen.
Yeah, I know. By the looks of it, and you've looked at a lot, I can see the bags under your eyes.
LatinoHousewives.net.
Oh, jeez. I don't. Latino Housewives. That's a mix-up. It would be something that Latino maids would be the genre.
No, actually, it was AmateurHousewives.net.
Oh, okay.
I did. I went to a site called AmateurHousewives.net, expecting to see like hot wife, but it was actually amateur house, as in bad housewives. This lady taking a burnt roast out of the oven. Another one was trying to change a light bulb with a wet potato. I mean, it was just her husband's yelling at her because the toilet was filthy. I thought it was actually, amateur housewife. But the true story. Look at that forehead. Jeez.
Oh, you're going to get letters.
My hair's receding like a French army.
I'm actually surprised you have as much hair as you do because you...
Steve, I'm not in my late hundreds, for crying out loud.
Well, you're in your 50s, right?
Yeah, thanks for broadcasting that to the 12 waitresses at the Funny Bone that I told I was 38.
Wait, hold on a second. I was going to ask you, is the Pittsburgh Funny Bone still there?
I don't know. The last time I played it, the Pirates had just won the championship. So what was that, 1971?
Okay. Yeah, I remember I did that once. I was getting started, and people were like, "Oh yeah, there's an improv in Pittsburgh," and I was like,
"They never wanted to pay." I did it a couple times. I did it with, but
it's such a big room, and they never fill it.
Well, that's the thing, and we all know, to get into a little inside ball as far as comedy goes. Why am I looking at myself now?
Because you're so good looking, and we honestly want to make you self-conscious about your hairline. Continue.
Yeah, don't do that. I have there's two shots of me right now on the screen. I look like a jack-o'-lantern with a toupee from Sicily. I look like a lesbian from Naples.
If that lesbian had sex with Ralph Macchio. Although actually not current Ralph Macchio, because he's bald as a cue ball. Have you seen Ralph Macchio recently? He showed up in like an episode of CSI. You're like,
is he bald?
Yeah, he was one of those guys who, in Karate Kid, he was like 35 when he did it. He was way older. And so what happened is you think he's this kid, he's way older, and then he surfaces now when he's 60, and he actually looks his age, and you're going, that happened overnight.
Well, I did a movie with him.
Oh, really? How long ago was that?
I had a small, in Artie Lang's Beer League. Me and Ralph Macchio actually had a scene.
Oh, that's right.
I play a cop naturally with a kind of a racist bent to it, and
so you're just bad at spotting rugs.
Yeah, no, he did not have a rug bag when I did the movie. Again, that was in the early '60s. It was a silent
early
film.
'60s.
It was a silent film, but
okay.
I like Ralph. So I didn't know he was that much older than me.
Well, I think when I looked it up, I was surprised. I guess because you assume he was like 16 when he did Karate Kid, but he was well into his 20s. So it's one of those things where they're older when they're playing teenagers. So all of a sudden they hit 50 and they look 50, and you're like, oh my! I thought he was so much younger. So you're aging gracefully. So what were you talking about that before the lesbian baseball stuff? Something. We were talking about something.
Oh, we're talking about the improv in Pittsburgh and how high the ceilings are.
The Funny Bone, yeah, the Funny Bone. Okay, go ahead.
Funny Bone, yeah. And the key to a good comedy club is a low ceiling.
Right.
People should know that if you're going to start a club. But yeah, the Funny Bone in Pittsburgh, you could hit fungos in there. I saw a couple of guys punting. Wasn't even coming close to hitting the ceiling.
It was rough.
Echoey club. You're right, actually. Nobody could understand. Between my Boston accent and the echoes, nobody in the crowd knew what I was saying.
And there was that karaoke bar on the other side of it. You remember that? Like after the comedy stopped?
I'll tell you a funny story about it. I was there with Jim Florentine.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I headlined there a few times. Then I did a gig with Stuttering John, Artie, Jim Florentine, and we go into that karaoke bar that you're talking about after the show. And Jim Florentine, who I love, he's got the sense of humor of like a 15-year-old boy.
Right.
For some reason, he had smoke bombs on him. So we go into the karaoke place. There's a bunch of fat chicks dancing. Jim goes out there and starts dancing, and he throws a stink bomb on the dance floor.
And the fat chicks just scatter?
They started it looked like a stampede of buffalo trying to, not to offend girls with a weight problem, but lighten up. It's just a joke. But I never laughed so hard at Florentine. He's like a 12-year-old boy on the corner giggling as people are running out thinking Saddam just hit us with mustard gas, you know?
Well, I think the fat chicks would have preferred mustard gas, if only for the confusion of the name right off the bat. You know, I saw Jim Florentine at the Addison Improv. And it was during, I hate to say it because I liked it was during the season where Crank Anchors was really big. And so half the show was just people saying, say yay! And it's like half the show was him just reciting lines that people asked.
Yeah.
And it's not a condemnation on him, more so the audience. But at a certain point, I had to get up and leave. I was like, all right, I don't need to hear someone do puppet lines, even though I loved the show. So
that happened to me when I went to see Pavarotti. They kept yelling out pasta recipes.
Yeah, well, when you go see Bocelli, it's just all
I gotta
one.
sit back. My face is too fat.
Look at you. Look at him. Do you notice he's wearing an American Eagle? Do you have any idea how creepy that must be when Nick DiPaolo walks into Aries? And he walks in like, where can I get some lingerie for my 14-year-old?
Well, the reason I have this, I fall like 12. I fall like two 18-year-old girls into American Eagle. They were picking out jeans. I was just standing behind them going, yeah, get those, the ones with the holes in the ass.
Gosh. Well, I don't think that's accurate. I just think, well, we wouldn't expect, he's not very fashion forward. We don't expect Nick to know what he's talking about.
What are you talking about? I'm Italian. I got a $14,000 suit upstairs. I plan on being buried in it.
Right.
What's with a Che Guevara T-shirt there?
It's so
red.
There you go. People haven't seen it, so
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, it says. Oh, you have the A blocked out.
No, it's figs. Socialism's for figs. I don't know what he's talking about. We're going to bring Nick DiPaolo back after the break. We'll have to shut him up for sponsors.
Figs.
Louder with Crowder. Stay tuned. I don't know what we're going to do.
Oh, I'm permanently blinded by the soap's chemicals. I'll never see again. I should have gone organic.
It's a good thing you can subscribe to the audio version on iTunes or SoundCloud.
Oh my, that's convenient, but tell them about the website as well.
What's the address?
LauderWithCrowder.com. Even if you're blind, I don't know how Braille works on a monitor.
You snotty little bastard.
Your Honor, I'd like to ask for a recess.
I'd like an answer to the question, Judge.
The court will wait for an answer.
If Lieutenant Kendrick gave an order that Santiago wasn't to be touched, then why did he have to be transferred? Colonel, Lieutenant Kendrick ordered the code red, didn't he? Because that's what you told Lieutenant Kendrick to do.
Object!
And when it went bad, you cut these guys loose!
Your Honor!
You had markets inside a phony transport!
Your Honor!
You doctored the logbook!
Damn it, Captain!
You coerced the doctor!
Consider yourself in contempt!
Colonel Jessup, did you order the code red?
You don't have to answer that question.
I'll answer the question. You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth.
Oh, dip! Oh, snap! Didn't see that one coming, boy! Oh, plot twist! Plot twist! Are y'all as excited as I am? Oh, damn!
You're a strange animal, that's what I know. But you're a strange animal, I got to follow. Oh, I'm in the speedy to
Glad to be back with our guest. You know, we're going to do 3 segments with the guest because I feel like it and because we've had dropouts with leftists and he has no choice in the matter. Nick DiPaolo.
It's because he doesn't suck.
Is the podcast. Is it connectpal.com/Nick?
That is correct.
It's not my fault that you have a crappy web address. That's
no, I
awful.
agree. If that's too complicated for retards like yourself, go to nickdip.com. Nickdip.com.
I know exactly what happened. Nick DiPaolo was probably taken. Someone tried to shake him down, and you were too cheap to pay to get the domain.
I wouldn't even know anything about that. I had my web guy do. No, it was actually an Italian porn site, I think.
Oh gosh. Well, that doesn't tell me. It always comes back to that. Apparently, you're a lonely man.
I'm telling you the truth. Is it Italian porn?
It wouldn't. Well, it's funny you bring that up because we're talking about comedy, and then we'll get into we have to get into the political climate. Remember when MySpace was new, and I won a stand-up contest. It was a front page of MySpace was So You Think You're Funny. And so I won it. It was people sending in their stuff.
And in competition, huh?
Yes. Well, at the time, it was like the Facebook. And do you know what the prize was? The prize was...
I know what it was.
You have no idea.
I know what the prize was.
Okay, go ahead.
The trip to Dane Cook's house.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Well, actually, I think I knew somebody who did make the trip to Dane Cook's house. He liked the young Asians. And anyway, the prize was Bruce, opening for Bruce. At a big theater.
Skinny white guy, right?
Yes. And I'm 18 at the time. And I was like, they were like, we're not going to pay you. And I said, well, I can't do it. So I actually opened it for him in Dallas. And it was Black Boy, B-O-I, me, and Bruce on one show. And he had a whole bit about Black Boy being a porn site. And it was just a bunch of homophobic stuff that liberals would never tolerate from a white comic. And me right in the middle. I remember sitting there. It had to become a whole bit about how white I was and Canadian because it was just a really weird dynamic. But apparently Black Boy was a porn site. Is he still, do you know him? He seemed like he was just part of the Bruce entourage. I've never seen him anywhere else.
Who? Black Boy?
Black Boy. Get it right.
I had never heard of him until you just mentioned him.
Well, so anyway, so that was the story. I got to perform for Bruce, and I did.
How'd it go?
Nah. It went okay once I figured out. Oh, Black Boy, me, and Bruce. This was a stupid prize. It was clearly like put on. They paid for it for the MySpace, and everyone entered. And it was like, okay, like by the way, you can pay to get yourself to this Tampa theater and perform with Bruce, and Black Boy. I'm like, okay, I probably won't spring for that. And so then I perform, and we both happen to be in Dallas.
Yeah, you win a contest, and you're punished for winning.
Yes, exactly.
I actually, I did Evening at the Apollo. I did comedy there.
Yeah.
I had to follow Salt and Pepper. And
is this a real story?
This is a real story.
You had to follow Salt and Pepper?
Salt and Pepper. And this is when they were hot. They had like 2 hit songs.
Sure.
Had to follow them at the Apollo in Harlem.
I would bet you probably did really well.
Probably did really. Now remember, I was 4 years into my career. I didn't even have facial material, so I didn't even get to the microphone. They started booing me.
Boo! Boo!
I go. I feel so white. I feel whiter than Debbie Boone, and of course that reference went over
their head. I was gonna say no way.
And then one heavy-set black woman just stood up and she started doing this, like get off.
Well, you know what it is? It's
I just walked by Sinbad, who was the host. He got like a parakeet yellow suit on. And I walked right by him. Sinbad goes, I don't know what happened, man.
And you're thinking, I know exactly what happened.
I went out the exit. I went down the stairs, out onto Broadway, and grabbed the cab, and I went down to the Comedy Cellar.
Oh gosh, that's got. I would say I was hoping that had a happier ending. I'm sorry that you had to experience that. It is true, and your face just goes ghost white when you realize, like my first, because I did it a weekend there at one of the improv. So there was 5 or 6 shows. So by the second show, I kind of knew. The first one I went up and same thing. I had some references, and I realized these people don't live in the same world I do. They have no idea what I was talking about. And you're going through your Rolodex going, that doesn't work, that doesn't work, that doesn't work. Yeah. And then it just became like, hey, I'm so white, I'm from Canada. And they're like, cracker's okay. And you're like, okay, I'm pandering, but I'm not getting shot. Speaking of which, the culture today.
Smooth transition.
Smooth transition. Hey, you're a New Yorker guy. You're Italian, so you guys tend to have a lot of pride in your cops. With the Dallas PD, it's true. It's absolutely true. Like every town, NYPD. It's almost like a brotherhood. I don't know.
Yeah, but I'm from Boston, Stephen. But go ahead.
Yeah, but you lived in New York you're no longer Boston. When was the last time you lived in Boston?
Let me see. Kennedy gets shot in '63. 1984.
Well, there you go. Okay, fine. So Boston, New York trans, but even Boston people are pride in their cops. They seem to be pretty proud of them. Irish Bostonians, they love their cops. Walking the beat, it's
walking the beat. Jimmy Bulger.
Yep. Right. So what do you make of this now? As far as being still in the comedy world, being out there on the East Coast, do you think the media is just they're missing it, and most people still feel that way? Because right before the bodies were even cold, right, they were going right back to Black Lives Matter, and cops are it's just open season on black kids because you can mine this for material, but at a certain point when people believe that cops are just out there shooting people solely because of their race. Well, yeah, then it becomes justifiable for violent uprising, right? I don't know what this is. We're bridging the generational gap, hairline to hairline. What do you think is going on here?
No, you're right. I mean, that's the narrative. It's the media that drives it.
Right.
I remember looking at my buddies in the late 80s. I remember being in Malden, Massachusetts, watching the news and saying to my buddy, I go, what are they trying to start a race riot in this country? And that was in the late 80s I said that.
Right.
Because if you're going to cherry pick, the media cherry picks the stories. And it creates this illusion, if that's all that you're seeing, the only stories you see when cops are involved, the ones where they're shooting somebody.
Right.
And, it creates this illusion that, it's open season, but people have to be smart enough to realize that that's not the case. All you have to do is look at the statistics, and it just doesn't bear out that narrative.
No.
Here's my analogy, Stephen. To be a cop today in this country, it's like being an offensive lineman in the NFL. You do all the hard work, and nobody knows who you are the whole game until when you get called for a penalty.
Right. And
that's the only time you get recognized is when you mess up. Then the referee announces your name, your number, and 80,000 people, 1 million people at home know that you cost them a touchdown. That's the only time you get recognized is when you screw up, and that's how it is with cops.
And you die at 38. We're going to bring back Nick DiPaolo, and we're on a dark note. We're going to bring it back. He's going to try his hand to spot the tranny. I'm still the reigning champion.
Tranny is in transvestite?
We'll figure it out after the break. Stay tuned. Second hour, glad to be back with our guest. Not Gay Jared was being horribly unprofessional. We apologize to our guest. You can follow his podcast, Funniest Man Alive, right now. I say this. He's not making the claim. I'm making the claim. Subscribe to his podcast at connectpal.com/Nick. Did I get that right for you? Otherwise, I know you'll complain.
No, that's...
So it's either do the plug, which I know you hate.
You got it right, and I can be a lot funny on my podcast because it's not syndicated, folks. So if you want to hear some real right-wing hatred, tune in.
Well, I remember that's why we were going to play this game. I remember you were sitting there on your show. I can't remember. It was one of the funniest lines I'd ever heard in a podcast where you said something like, and then this transgender's taking a dump right in the middle of the aisleway, talking about cops. This is when the big bathroom thing was going on, and I was about. I couldn't drive. I almost had to pull over. My wife was in there.
Well, I said that, they take the fun. They complicate everything, the liberal. Like with the transgender thing, I go, they just take the fun out of life. I said something real sarcastic to my friend, and he goes, I don't know, does a bear crap in the woods? I go, I don't know, does he identify as a bear? Maybe he thinks he's a pigeon today. Somebody get my umbrella,
Did you see this week that someone, transgenders got caught that snapping pictures in the ladies' room?
Yes, at Target.
Yeah.
I can't believe they saw me. I had the raincoat and the trench. I had the trench coat and the totes hat.
That's why you shave and you just pulled your hair back in a net and toss on. Yeah, anyone can do
Anybody in there?
You have mirrors on your shoes. It is one of those deals that it's like people. No one can say we didn't see this coming. Okay, so because of that, we're going to play this game. I'm the reigning champion. Jared, let's play the game that we play with our guests.
Live from Transylvania, it's time to play Spot the Tranny.
High production value. High
That's
production
what we
value
do.
here for
That's the only way we do it.
Okay, so it's a very simple game. Not Gay Jared is going to give us some pictures here that we can see, and we have to identify whether it is a male, female, or transgender male to female. So you have to guess, and then we're going to tally up the score to see who is better. I'm the reigning champion. I don't think I've ever gotten one wrong in my life, right? Not Gay Jared?
I think I've tripped you up maybe once.
Nope, never.
Maybe once.
Birds who flock together.
Well, yes, this is correct. With Not Gay Jared, the jury is out, and we're not supposed to discuss this. So, Not Gay Jared, hit us with the first one.
First one. Boom.
Oh, okay. I'm going to go ahead and say that is somebody in transition. I don't think that's a woman.
I agree. That's a guy who thinks he's a woman.
You think so? You think so?
Give us what's the result? It is?
It's a tranny.
Okay, there we go. So we're 1 for 1. Okay.
I gotta admit, I was attracted to that.
Well, they can trip you up, especially when they're Asian, because they're also androgynous anyway to begin with. It's hard.
I can't believe you're cracking me up, Steve. I can't say certain things because this radio is syndicated, and you're saying these blatantly racist like stuff, and nobody flinches.
No, you can say anything racist you want. You just can't say words. That's how silly radio is.
You can say racist stuff on radio? Since when?
I just did.
It's not racist. Asians, they're hard to delineate. You put a Chinese dude in a dress.
Dude, I said way less than that when I was on Free FM, my terrestrial radio show. I said way less than that and get all kinds of gunk. So.
Have you seen when we did the Bob Ross draws Muhammad sketch? Once you've done that.
That one actually had me going, this guy is crazy.
Well, you may be correct. I don't know. I have no idea. I can't know. I wouldn't know. Otherwise, I wouldn't be crazy.
I couldn't believe what I was watching.
Well, thank you. Okay, let's get Jared. Let's give us another one.
Believe
1 for
this.
1.
Believe
right,
this.
Let's see.
Boom.
Oh, okay. No, you know what? Hold on a second. Make sure you have the volume up on the answer this time.
That's Wayne Gretzky's daughter.
Actually, unfortunately, she's got the face of Wayne, so you can't get it out of your head. But I'm going to say that's a woman who's a bodybuilder.
I am too.
Yeah,
I'm with you too.
That's a woman. Correct. Okay.
There you go.
There we go. We're 2 for 2.
Why do I look like I have rosacea?
Because you have rosacea. Let's give us another picture.
Number 2. Boom. What do you think?
That's a tranny.
That's a guy. That's a tranny.
Yeah, that's a tranny. I'm gonna say it's a tranny.
It's a she.
Really?
No joke.
Well, now we're just mean.
Now you got one wrong.
What was it?
It was a woman.
That was a woman? Yeah. That's not what he told me.
Oh, jeez. That's right. We don't have to. We have to refrain from playing this with someone who has a history moving forward.
That's not.
Yeah. We had some conversations there at the cell. He's a good guy. I think Jim Norton is actually one of those guys people don't understand sometimes what they're hearing or watching. The dude can be brilliant and on point. Not good, Jared. Hit us with another one. How many more do we have?
We've got 8 altogether. So
okay, so just do a couple.
Boom.
More. Oh, that's not fair. When you're crossing cultural boundaries, it's kind of like we were talking about with reference points in comedy. With a black person, it's harder for a white person to know.
Yeah, you still have to make a call.
And there's no way for me to do this and get out of this. Notice Nick has gone silent because he doesn't even want to.
Well, I was letting you speak, then I was going to take my guess. I'm going to have to recuse myself, unlike Loretta Lynch, because I played football with that last guy, University of Maine.
So you say yes.
I say, can I see it again, please?
Yes.
Yeah, see it again.
I feel like I'm picking somebody out of a lineup, not to be racist. That's a guy.
I would have to say yes.
I hope that's a guy.
I think that's a guy.
It's a tranny.
Okay, good. We got that one. So we're both correct. What are we?
You're in sync. You're in sync at least.
We both missed the same one.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So we're each 3 and 1.
Yep.
3 and 1.
Here we go.
All right. Let's.
Boom.
Let's.
What do we think?
Oh, come on. It's almost to the point where that's so obvious that it's the not obvious answer. What do you think, Nick?
Wait a minute. I think that was pick number 1 out of the University of Texas in 97. It was a nose tackle. If that's a woman, I'm gonna find out where she lives because it's breaking my heart.
Oh God.
That poor thing had hands on her like Skipper from Gilligan's Island. You see the mitts on that broad? That's. Please tell me that's a tranny.
I'm gonna say yes, but it could be a trick. Go ahead, knock it, Jared.
This is hate speech.
Oh
Yeah,
God,
that's a tranny.
We're gonna get sued.
We're gonna get sued for what?
Well, hate speech. You heard the Igor answering.
That last one was either tranny or Miss Minnesota.
What's the difference at this point?
Yeah, or even, you can even do Wisconsin too. I just spent some time in Milwaukee, and oh my God, they have to reinforce the hotels.
I'm making fun of these people, and I'm looking at myself on camera. And go, who am I to say anything?
Oh come on! Everyone talked about what a good-looking chap you are when you were on Opie and Anthony. It was homoerotic almost.
Patrice said I was a beautiful man.
He did say you were a beautiful man. He's a good-looking dude too. Jared, hit us with another one, and I'll say the title.
Boom.
Oh come on! The problem is not gay. Here's the thing, Nick. Not gay Jared throws you off on purpose, and this isn't fair.
That's the missing Gabor sister. That's Kevin Gabor.
I'm gonna say.
That's a woman.
I'm going to agree with Nick on this. We know it, no, because we need a tiebreaker, so I'm going to say no. I think he's right, but I'm going to say no, and we'll see, and then we'll have one more.
It's a she.
There you go. Nick is good. Nick he has an eye for this.
Is that a woman?
Yeah, it's a she. It's a woman. He's been having a great batting average. Okay, well, the last one here, not Jared.
Yep,
Let's see what this happens here, and we have to pick.
And kaboom.
Oh, come on. That's a woman with a hormonal disorder.
That's Jack Black's sister.
Yes, but unfortunately not nearly as musically.
Now that was a woman. That's a transgender.
I think that's a woman with a hormone problem, and I think we're gonna. Yeah. Jared, not gay Jared.
I'm not sure.
Damn it! These are not definitive answers.
Do you want definitive? You want definitive one for that one? Definitive? Yeah. Double. There we go.
It's a she.
Okay, so we're both right. All right. Well, Nick is the reigning champion now, I guess. Nick has the title.
Oh, I can't wait to see that trophy.
Yeah, well,
live from Transylvania, this has been
Spotting the Trannies.
It's a good game. And
it's a classic.
It's a family friendly. We'll have to have you back and play hobo or hipster because I feel like I would have the edge since they're all my age.
Because I always hear the term hipster, and I know they have beards, but that's about all I know. And they live in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. That's all I know.
Yeah, well, they also Oregon. A lot of cities in the Midwest, Austin, and
it's contagious.
It is contagious. There's an infestation in like Detroit and Grand Rapids, and then all of a sudden there's an epidemic of hipster rape in Detroit. It's like, oh, surprise! Who saw that one coming? Because they move in and gentrify it and then bitch about gentrification. It's like, these people don't like you. Yeah, it's a real problem. It is hard to recognize a difference because it's not just a beard. They'll wear like deliberately short, like the flood pants, so they'll look like my wife and I volunteered at a special needs club.
It's almost as if they go out of the way to be misleading.
They look genuinely.
But you're
retarded.
saying that hipsters have actually raped?
They're getting raped.
Oh, they're getting
because
raped.
Right. One's horrific. One's kind of funny.
One could say they've appropriated hobo culture.
They have appropriated hobo culture. And at the very least, the rape is ironic. So I feel like they would appreciate it. And so it's not as dark of an issue.
You buy them a couple of Pabst Blue Ribbons and then get them.
Yeah, in New York they advertise how cheap their Pabst are. You notice that?
Yeah, they've moved on to Narragansett. This is true about the hipsters. They've moved on to Narragansett beer. That's a beer that Quint drank in Jaws.
Oh wow, is that so?
When I was a kid, Narragansett was huge in Massachusetts and Rhode Island and.
Gosh, I didn't even know that. I knew they were kind of, because now PBR is mainstream and it wasn't. So, all right, hey, where's the best place for people to find you, Nick, with the plug in your next show?
What do you mean, my live show?
All right, let's just send them back to nickdip.com or connect.
Boy, you're impatient. Boy, I'll tell you, you really are conservative. You got a hair across your ass around. NickDip.com for my tour dates. You can see me at Caroline's next week, July 21 through 23, right here in New York City. And yes, go to connectpal.com/Nick for my podcast. And you can hear it on iTunes on Mondays for free.
Yeah, it really is worth it. Nick, thank you for being with us so much, sir. Not Gay Jared has his work cut out for him, but Louder with Crowder, we're going to try and track down, hopefully, Christopher Titus. I don't know. We're trying. We are really trying. But we're back.
All right. And they follow each other for each one to know, 'cause they got nowhere to go. And I'm staring at the boy in the window. I'm hoping that he changes clothes. I'm starting with the boy in the window. If you wanna make the world a better place,
I can't believe he said that. Oh, there you are. You caught me on my off time. You know, you're probably watching this video cast on YouTube or Facebook, or maybe you caught the live video stream Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 o'clock Central. I don't know, but many of you don't know you can subscribe on iTunes or SoundCloud. The audio version has exclusive commercials, sketches, and you can take it with you on the go. Plus, it's free, and I know many of you are cheap bastards, so. Always looking out for you. fine, Hopper. Stop it. You're fine. We're back.
True liberal like hot dog.
That dog Hopper barking. He doesn't like to see the beautiful AR-15 that I have. I was showing it off.
Not a fan.
That's one of my newer additions to the collection that may or may not exist. Custom from AR15.com. Of course, they're a sponsor to the show, but they have a store there and they can custom build whatever you want. So I got one that I'd been wanting for a while, and man, ARFCOM, they make a nice, very nice rifle. So if ever anyone asks, why do you need a rifle? Why do you need an AR-15? Because
it's a very simple thing.
When people ask, oh, I thought people, no, there's nothing more to that. There's no. What's happening?
Hey, how's it going?
Jared. What's up?
Dean.
Dean, did we get another call?
Yeah. Hey, man.
Dean, look.
You busy right now?
Look, I love you. You're my man, okay? I love you. Love your stuff. But fuck Thursday. Stop calling.
What's wrong with Thursday, man?
I'll send him.
Dude, you don't get mad. We're trying to hang out.
You hurt his feelings now.
We'll call you back later.
Well, that wasn't very nice. It's frustrating. I get it. I'm frustrated.
I didn't want to hang up on him.
We
but
shouldn't have. We'll need to have him on as a guest.
Just book him. Just book him.
You talk to him more, though.
Just
but you spend more time with him.
And he probably won't do this. Yeah. He just wants to. I think he wants to be a part of it. I get it, but.
Great. I mean, I would love to have him as a guest. But he just.
I get it.
We can't get liberals to stay, and we can't get Dean to leave. Dean Cain. So anyway, this week in social justice, I'm still keeping updated here in France again as this is occurring. Looks like the death toll went up to 77. My God, it's hard. It's hard. It really is hard to. Full disclosure, obviously, Nick DiPaolo was a pre-tape because we had Christopher Titus want to come on debate gun control, and then he dropped out and he had a time miss, so we had to squeeze in Nick, and now Chris might be on next week. So respect to Christopher Titus. It seemed like he will show up, and it was a mishap. So it's just been a really difficult scheduling week. After this break, we're going to have Courtney Kirchhoff with exclusive on the sexual harassment case with Gretchen Carlson and Fox News. I've received hundreds of emails of people asking me about it because I worked at Fox. I'll give you a little inside baseball after the break, but right now I wanted to talk about this. We have this up on the screen this week in social justice. We have Lena Dunham, first one, who claimed that, is my screen not working? Is that what's happening?
It just went out, so yeah, we're
working on it. Never mind. Lena Dunham has demanded that we remove all guns from the Jason Bourne ads. Hey, New Yorkers, what if we do some peeling and get rid of these guns in the Jason Bourne subway ads? So tired of guns, she put out on Instagram, and I guess she was defiling Jason Bourne ads. Honestly, it took becoming, she said, now I feel that the only use for fame is to spread messages with meaning. So her meaning, her use for fame is to take guns off of a fictional film poster of an action film. Lena Dunham. When she's not falsely accusing men of rape, she's taking guns off of posters. Hey, Amy Schumer this week says her first sexual experience was non-consensual.
For which party?
Well, then layup. She said, my first sexual experience was not a good one. I didn't think about it until I started reading my journal again. Okay, first tip, that's not rape.
I was raped, but I didn't think about it until I went back and read my journal. It was like a yearbook signature. Like, oh my God, the most horrific, soul-deadening crime that can be committed. I just had a memory lapse. No, I made my money by faking like I'm offensive, but really I'm just a tool. I was raped, but I wasn't.
July 21st. Oh my God, I was raped.
I was raped. Oh, what's the statute of limitations?
When it happened, I wrote about it almost like a throwaway. It was like, and then I looked down and I realized he was inside me. He was saying, I'm sorry, I can't believe I did this. Because that's what rapists say. So, this was 17 years ago. There are so many factors. I had another time with a boyfriend where I was saying, no, stop, and he completely ignored. Here's the deal. If it's rape, you know it's rape, and you should press charges. It's actually immoral for you not to, because there's a strong chance that an actual violent rapist, a real rapist, will go on to rape again. So, Amy Schumer, I believe you're a liar. Back to Lena Dunham. Lena Dunham this week supports that sushi is cultural appropriation. So I don't know if you remember, she went to her old college, Oberlin. We talked about this. There were kids who were protesting that serving sushi and Vietnamese food was insensitive because it was cultural appropriation. And she said, to me, it was actually right on. So I think she's just trying to hoard it for herself.
Don't eat the sushi, you guys. It's so good. It's cultural. It's poison.
It's like when my dad used to check my Halloween candy.
Oh yeah. Oh, there could be some old lady lollipops in here.
I know God doesn't make mistakes.
Then your Reese's cups are gone.
But Lena Dunham, it's like one of those things where that creates this crisis in faith, where you're sitting in your personal prayer time, atheist right now. What do you pray? I hate you. They get so triggered.
I just don't know what do they sit around and do? I don't understand what these people say. How does this come?
You mean
to
Lena
this?
Dunham or atheist?
Any of these people? Well, Amy Schumer, Lena Dunham.
It's like we sit there,
What
and
can
I ponder it. It puts me in a more introspective, existential state than my sister-in-law's father having a stroke. I'm like, how did God create such people?
No one's been outraged about sushi yet.
No one's been outraged about sushi.
I've been raped. Amy, have you been raped? Oh my goodness, I have not been
Is
raped.
pho Vietnamese?
Pho? Yeah.
You think she walks in like,
pho.
"Hi, you want to buy pho?" Do you realize this is racist? As cultural appropriation? Oh my God! You want to buy pho? I mean, I don't think they care at all. It's always silly white people. They're offended about everything all the time. But they're not. They don't want to be outraged by Islam, where 77 people are killed in France and women are beaten without mercy and Sharia courts are set up and there's child. Well, we want to respect their culture. By the way, listen, if you don't understand this right now with Nice in France, and just as much with Lena Dunham and Amy Schumer, Western civilization is at stake. It's at stake because of the evil that is Islam across the globe, and it's at stake because of the leftists who try to appease it. Like Amy Schumer, Lena Dunham, Hillary Clinton, take your pick. That's the biggest threat that Western civilization faces. Islam, not just terrorists, the ideas of Islam, and those who appease them. Western civilization and Islam as it exists right now cannot coexist. Not when they want to kill you. Not when they're running trucks into people. Sorry, not going to play nice. Courtney scoffs. Right up next.
We're gonna make a fortune with this place.
How fast are they?
Well, we clocked the T-Rex to 32 miles an hour.
T-Rex?
Mm-hmm.
You said you've got a T-Rex?
Uh-huh.
Say again.
We have a T-Rex.
No, I'm out. I didn't sign up for this T-Rex. I ain't even all about this though. I'm about this bitch, for real.
If you wanna be my baby, it don't matter if you're 6 or 5. Oh!
Reach the wizard. Reach the wizard.
Glad to be back. Of course, the third hour of the program. No, we're already in the third hour of the program. No. Second hour?
We're in the second hour.
I don't even know. I can't keep track anymore.
Today?
There's terrorism. There's whatever hour in the program. Lena Dunham is still here. I don't even know what to make of it. So before we bring on our next guest, I want to give you a little inside baseball. I've gotten a lot of emails asking about the Fox News situation, Gretchen Carlson, about the sexual harassment, because I worked at Fox News for 4.5 years. Let me be brutally honest. I was never sexually harassed at Fox News. Actually, that's not true. That's not true. That is not true. There was a gay wardrobe, I guess, consultant there who was Israeli, now that I think about it. Bald, Israeli guy. Nice guy.
And he would constantly, oh, you look good today. Those jeans actually remind your butt. It reminds me of my boyfriend. I was like, well, thank you. I appreciate it. So I think that qualified.
His boyfriend was Beyonce.
Stop it. Oakland booty, ghetto booty is racist now. It's a lot. It's filed with sushi. It's cultural appropriation.
It's too far, Jared.
I will say this. I have no idea about Gretchen Carlson. We'll have Courtney on in a couple seconds to talk about it. I've never had any interaction with Roger Ailes when I worked there, ever. All I knew was the president of the New York of the Enterprise didn't like me, did not like me from what I understood. But everyone else there at the brass liked me. They were like, he just doesn't think you're funny. And they're like, but he doesn't. He finds Rich Little funny. They were like, that's his kind of thing. And I remember when I was brought in, they were like, well, what impressions do you do? Can you do like Ronald Reagan? I was like, no, I can't do a Ronald Reagan impression. So it was a weird experience. But I will say this. I of course I worked there for a long time. So discounting have nothing to do with Roger Ailes. I know a lot of women still who've worked at Fox News, and I will say I don't believe that it is outside the realm of possibility that something like this could have happened. You watch on Red Eye, they call it the leg cam as an example. Everyone knows that they call it the leg cam. Mm-hmm. That's a very watered down version of how we knew it at Fox News. You can draw your own conclusions, but the camera comes up underneath. I mean, the sex appeal sells at Fox News. You're talking about, younger people will just go watch pornography on the internet. Fox News definitely does use sex appeal more than most news networks. There's no doubt about it.
Tune into the 5 o'clock news.
I'm gonna see Megyn Kelly's gams.
Holt Marge is out for groceries.
Yes. So, I mean, we just need to be intellectually consistent. It's not outside the realm of even plausibility that maybe some women could have felt uncomfortable with what, for example, just the leg cam, which is something everyone out there knows. So I don't want to reveal anything that happened behind the scenes, but you can tune into Fox News where they joke about the leg cam. That's not what it was called amongst contributors. That being said, who knows you never know with a sexual harassment case. You never know if someone is looking to collect some change. It's unfortunate now. That reminds us, though, we have our next guest. You know her on the Twitter as Courtney Scoffs. That's when you hear this, the Emperor. Empress is coming on. Courtney Kirchhoff. You can follow her at Courtney Scoffs. Are you with us, sweetheart?
I am here.
Glad to have you.
Thank you.
So thank you. So you were going to come on into here and kind of inform us. I haven't been following it, the Gretchen Carlson situation.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the story? Give us the rundown first.
So she's suing Roger Ailes, not Fox News, because she alleges that her contract was not renegotiated because she didn't sleep with him. That's the byline.
Hey,
that's
could
the
you
true line.
pull your hair back just a little bit?
Like, what?
Just pull your hair pull your hair back like this. Pull it back. Yeah, just pull it back.
Oh, okay.
Look at I think
better?
Courtney would look good like that, don't you?
Is that better?
Tucked behind the
like one of those kind of tied behind because she's got a nice forehead and face.
Kind of trendy right now, isn't it?
Yeah, I think you'd look good like that. Okay, so what about the other women who've come forward?
There are a few. There are just some rumors right now that there are other women who are saying, yeah, he also was inappropriate with me and said things about my legs and the leg cam, as you were just talking about. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why do you wear so many sweaters? Like you come on a lot when people ask, like you wear sweaters, like you work out, you stay, you make the, you got a darling figure. I'm just saying sometimes
it looks warm.
It looks warm.
Well, it's a colder climate here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just didn't know if that was like your style or something, or you can do it if you're married to it. But I just mean I think you like a blouse or tank top.
I mean, why do you always wear that shirt?
Where is there, by the way?
Because we're gonna sell this shirt.
If you could text me your address later, I was gonna.
Yeah,
I still didn't send her a birthday present.
I'm just saying. I mean, you work out. People know you're really into fitness. You stay tight, which is tight is a quality. It's a good quality in women. And
I would rather people listen to my ideas than focus.
No. Your ideas are good too. I'm just saying. They might listen more if you like wore I don't know, something more svelte. So do you think that there's any does it hold any water? These women coming forward. Do we have anything substantiated yet?
No, I think right now it's just rumors and people are, my opinion would be that maybe some of them want to get in on the gravy train too, but I don't know.
She's so serious.
Excuse me?
She's serious.
I mean, wouldn't hurt her to smile more, you know what I mean?
She has
It's just I'm just saying you have a pretty smile. It'd be nice
people,
if you smiled.
we have some
more.
comments about that.
Like comments like
smile.
it's just an attract. You're smart, but like men, like women, who like smile.
Like this.
There you go. Look at how pretty that is.
Hold on.
Come
hold
on.
Hold on. Pose it. Pose it.
Yeah, there
pose
you
it.
go.
Pose it. Screen grab.
Look at that one.
I'll tweet that.
See, babe, that's just that's fantastic. People are going to be happy with that.
Okay.
Hey, do you wear you wore glasses one time?
Yes.
Do you
I
have
wear
them?
glasses. I do.
Can I see them?
They're not with me right now.
They're not. You don't have any glasses.
Did you want to talk about?
No, we
Gretchen
can. We
Carlson?
can. Yeah, of course I do. Of course I do. Let me. Okay. Yes. So you don't think there's any credence to what these women are saying?
Well, there might be because I've watched Fox News a couple of times and I've noticed that the women there tend to be lookers. The men are not so much. The women are all legs and smiles,
right.
blonde.
Uh-huh.
Megyn Kelly.
We have we have Alfonzo next, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Courtney, speaking of, I was just wondering.
Yeah.
Have you ever dyed your hair before?
Like, have you ever thought of like?
No.
Because you're very fair skinned, and so sometimes there's not a lot like of contrast. Like you might, I don't know. You might. What
Bear
do you
with
think?
me. Bear with me. Hold on.
Like I think she look good as a brunette.
Like if we did like some sort of like.
Hold on. Let's see.
Just focus on the hair.
Focus on the hair. Oh my gosh.
I try to find it.
There you go. Looks a little darker. Look at that.
A little redder.
Just came out of the shower, so it's a little.
Oh my gosh.
Trying to just find it.
I'm gonna need a knuckle transplant.
What's that?
From all of these. That's how good you look as a brunette, Courtney.
Okay.
I'm just saying, as a compliment. I'm just saying,
Ignore the skin tone, but I think I'm finding.
I mean,
it.
like she's cute, she's sweet, and she's very smart. Courtney's very smart. No, I'm just saying, like.
Am I sweet?
Try and dial it.
No,
in here.
well, you're, but I mean, like you're sweet, like
there?
looking like, it's that's too much, Jared. You're switching now. That you're switching. She's a natural beauty. I'm just saying she should.
Did you do this to Nick DiPaolo before?
What did I do? What?
Ask him about his hair color?
No. Why would we ask about Nick DiPaolo's hair
He's
color?
losing the hair.
Yeah,
and the
we don't want,
color.
he's a sensitive topic for him.
Did you ask about his sweater?
I think we talked about the American Eagle thing, but it's different. It's different. He's a guy. Those things don't really matter as much.
Oh, I see. He's a guy.
Yes, he's a guy.
So it matters what I'm wearing, but it doesn't matter what
Do you see what's happening, Jared? It's like we got a Gretchen Carlson. I mean, we're trying to help her.
I'm just getting some vibes here that it's getting a little uncomfortable.
Bossy.
Well, yeah.
Excuse me?
I think she's bossy. I'm just saying, like, why?
When you say excuse me that way, can you try it with a smile, just a little bit? Say it again.
I can try it with a certain digit.
No.
What, is that not ladylike? Are we gonna have some
What are you
issues?
doing? Give us a smile and say excuse me.
This is inappropriate.
I don't see. I don't think she has any idea what she's. Okay, if she's uncomfortable, knock it, Jared. Just hang up. We don't want to. We don't want it. She's just being. She's being difficult. She's being difficult. I had never assumed Courtney would be that way.
That's unfortunate.
It's unfortunate.
I thought better of her, but
that's the thing. You never know. People are hyperly sensitive.
She's Courtney.
Is she there?
Go away. Go away. Okay.
I'm sorry,
okay. Am I? What is this? Is this one of the callback rule?
Bye.
Waiting for the boys.
There we go. Now she's gone.
She's gone.
She's gone.
I don't even want to give her outro music at this point.
Nah, we shouldn't.
It's uncomfortable.
Some people are just kind of I don't want to say stuck up, but
no,
just kind of.
Well, I'm just saying you're just trying to help her. You try and help women.
And they come off totally prudish.
You never know. You never know. You never know which way it's gonna go. So, anyways, we're gonna get down to the Fox News thing. We'll have someone else, I guess, who's a little more I don't know. You have to be careful dealing with this. I'm trying to find some updates here on the Paris situation. Do you have any? Not gay, Jared.
On the Paris, I do not.
From Charlie Hebdo to nice. Okay, I guess now starting to trend is truck control. I mean, that is important. We've talked about this, the truck situation, for example. And up next, we're announcing our golden ticket hiring spree for those who are listening right now. We're going to give you very clear instructions on if you want to work, what positions are available.
One second. Go away. Okay, back. Now she's gone.
Why was she still there? With the truck situation, it is I don't, this whole show is taking a whole People are listen. Hemoglobin levels from Jared are good. One thing I will say, I hope you're screwing with me on Twitter. I'm getting these tweets right now. I talked about those chest pains. People are telling me that's not normal. That it's like indicative of a heart attack. I'm really just hoping it was indigestion. I'm really just.
It was those wings for sure.
This was happening before.
In fairness, I told you. You're like, oh, I got some wings before the show. I'm like, that is the dumbest thing you've said to me in at least a week.
Right. I think you're right. Gosh, we don't have time. We don't have time today for the. I was going to get to Bill Maher talking about how California was doing well as opposed to Texas, and we just don't have time to get into it. I will tell you this. This is with the France thing. This has happened though twice in my life, and this is. I know it's going to sound weird. It happened once. I talked about this a long time ago with my hair cutter, hairdresser, stylist, barber when I was a kid. Her name was Yan. She was Chinese, and she cut my hair from when I was, I think, 3 until I was 14. And she died along with her husband and her 2 children, aged 3 and 1, in a plane crash, in a private plane crash while she was going overseas to her father's funeral in China. And I had relatives die. I think my grandfather had died, but it was the first time I really I got anxiety about my own mortality. Young people, I think it hits you differently. And as tragic as the France thing is, I think a lot of people don't understand it until it becomes very personal. And I will say that is the case with me, as far as, even though it's less severe, with my sister-in-law, her father having the stroke, it threw me for a loop, man, because he's not very old. And thank God he's doing better now, but wasn't able to speak, feeding tube, the whole bit. It's very different from 10 years ago or 15 years ago when my grandfather had a stroke. They didn't have this pill that they give you now. I guess that mitigates a lot of the damage. But I was sitting there going, and not to get any day, you don't want to be cliche, but I think people don't realize until it hits them personally. And I was struggling with that. That was a big thing. It's been on my mind. It's been stressful thinking about, gosh, it could happen. You always think it won't happen to me. Well, this was my sister-in-law's father, and I can't even imagine if it happened to my father. Well, think about that. I can't even imagine what would happen if I lost one of my parents. They were one of the 77, or my wife, or even not Gay Jared for all of his faults in a terrorist attack like we see. When you put it in those personal terms, it does. I guess it makes you appreciative. It does make you grateful, and it makes you really angry, especially when you realize the war that we're in. Again, Western civilization versus Islam right now. It's one thing to see it on the news and everyone's just going for clicks and for viewers. It's one thing to personalize it. Speaking of personalized, golden ticket hiring spree. You want to work for us? Stay tuned.
I could have got more out. I could have got more. I don't know if I made more money. I threw away so much money. I didn't do enough. This car. God would have bought this car. Why did I keep the car? 10 people right there. This pin. 2 people.
Damn, that pin's worth 2 people? Oscar Schindler's a pin!
This is gold. 2 more people.
Get it, get it!
You would have given me 2 for it. At least 1.
Get it, put it up, put it up!
You would have given me 1. 1 more.
When it's time to party, we will party hard.
Glad to be back. 3rd hour, fun hour, producing with me in Video Studios.
This is the end of the 2nd hour.
No.
You are incredibly confused.
Do we have 2 more segments before Zoe?
We do. We have this.
No, we have 1 more segment, and then Zoe comes on.
You're so confused.
Is this when we're doing the golden ticket then?
This is when we're going gold ticket.
All right, okay. I'm sorry, it's the France thing. This is one of the few we usually have this prep, but this is going on while we're on air. This attack. I'm trying to stay updated, and so it's an absolute nightmare. Okay, listen. Let's get into this. We're not going daily, and we are because we're hiring people. There's people might assume you're going daily, But we are hiring full-time positions in case, but we're not going daily. So we are hiring full-time positions right now. And we get so many applications. How do I contribute? Here's the thing. We don't do guest contributors at louderwithcrowder.com. We have a very small team, very tightly knit team, and it takes months to train somebody up to do it because it's kind of tough to find somebody with a sense of humor, with somebody who has the work ethic. I mean, the hours are tough. But the team has been incredibly loyal, and I'm very grateful to them. So we are announcing right now, if you want to work for Louder with Crowder,
ticket. I've got a golden twinkle in my eye.
Grandpa, you can walk all this time? You jerk! I've been working 2 jobs!
Oh, come back, Charlie.
That grandpa was a jerk.
Was a jerk.
Was I the only one who thought that when I watched Charlie and the Chocolate Factory?
No.
Not Willy Wonka and the Johnny Depp business. I was watching it, and I remember I put myself, and then we'll get to the hiring in a second, I put myself in his shoes at the beginning of the film. So think of the timeline. I'm going, oh, this poor kid. And again, I'm personalizing it. Man, if my grandparents couldn't walk and they were in the bed at home, that'd be horrible. I love Grandpa.
Mm-hmm.
Grandpapa, we say in French. I was like, oh my gosh, I'd feel so bad. And this kid is going to school and he's working 2 jobs. I just thought, what a horrible life. But man, what a great kid. And how close he must be with his grandparents and how much they must love him to live together, and he's working for them. And then all of a sudden, he gets a golden ticket from a chocolate wrapper. And Grandpa's like the beggar who was healed by Jesus. He's like Ethel Merman, clang, 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 what the trolley. I'm going, you ass. There are child labor laws specifically because of people like you.
He's
Hopper's getting mad about it. It's okay, Hopper. Stop worrying.
He feels the sting. He knows.
He feels the sting. That was my reaction to it. Imagine if you're like, yeah, I worked 2 jobs for this. Okay, so we are hiring at Louder with Crowder. You know what? We're going to do this over the course of several weeks. I've decided. We have several positions. We have part-time. We have writer positions. Contributors to the site. We're going to do that later because we get so many people, like thousands of applications for writing. We don't do guest posts. You're either a part of the team or you are not. But something that we do need. Now, let me address this. Let me tell you right off the bat. Yes, it is a full-time position. Yes, it pays better than the average salary. Yes, the workload is greater than the average salary. You will have to relocate to work this job, to be in studio. You have to be willing to. So what we need, we'll do this week, and then we'll do them week by week. We'll get to other contributors, but this is very specialized. We need a full-time video shooter, editor. If you're funny and you can write, that helps. Specifically, if you are very, very skilled in technical editing aspects like After Effects or special effects. Not Gay Jared is very good at what he does, but that's not necessarily his forte. So we are hiring a full-time, willing to relocate, full-paying videographer/editor to be a part of the full-time team at Louder with Crowder. If that is you, if you think it is you, you should apply. Don't apply and say I go to this school and I'm a conservative and I can learn. No, listen, you can't. You can't learn right away. We need people who are qualified, who know what they're doing. So this is your golden ticket right now. We just need to punch it for you. What do you need to do? Go to louderwithcrowder.com.
Or you can click on the little golden ticket button.
You can click on a little golden ticket button right now if you're watching this visually. You can click on it, go to louderwithcrowder.com. There is a page where you will submit a form. The form that you submit will be titled, I've Got a Golden Ticket. That will be the title. You will not add anything else to that title. You will not change it. The very first phrase in your application will be, I'm not worthy, period. Followed by why we should hire you, your resume reel. Keep it brief. Don't go super long. One more time and only one more time. You'll go to louderwithcrowder.com, go to the post. Your title will be, I've Got a Golden Ticket. That's it. No punctuation. If you don't title it that, you are immediately disqualified and it won't even go through the system. We just can't handle all the applications that we've had before.
In fact, we will print it out and send it back to you.
We'll print it out. It's more work for us.
It is, but it's serious.
And your very first phrase will be what? Not Gay Jared?
You know, I gotta be honest, I wasn't listening.
Well, there you go. He's fired. So now you can have his job. We have 2 more openings. I'm not worthy, period. And then list why we should hire you. So there you go. And if none of those things, you will not. So take care when you do it. We want you to actually take some care when you apply in this process. Is there anything I missed, not Gay Jared?
I think that was it.
What is it you want to see in the next videographer for a non-daily endeavor?
Non-daily endeavor. Oh, gosh. If you have live experience,